Item Number: SCP-Y-035. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-Y-035, designated as the Moribund Ferryman, remains uncontained due to its unpredictable nature and the rarity of its manifestations. Given its ability to integrate seamlessly into public transportation and its reliance on human behavior for its anomalous effects, direct containment is currently deemed impractical. Instead, containment efforts are focused on prevention, monitoring, and damage mitigation. Foundation assets are embedded within all major public transportation networks globally, including but not limited to metro systems and subway stations, bus terminals and regional transit hubs, ferry and boat services across both coastal and inland waterways, long-haul train services and intercity routes. These operatives monitor for any unusual psychological phenomena, such as reports of collective fear, mass hysteria, or the inexplicable absence of all passengers from a transit vehicle upon its arrival at a scheduled stop. In the event that SCP-Y-035 is detected or strongly suspected, Foundation personnel are to board the affected transit under the guise of ordinary passengers and immediately initiate Protocol MF Transit 6. Public transportation systems in major metropolitan areas have been outfitted with specialized detection algorithms designed to scan CCTV feeds for dark energy anomalies consistent with SCP-Y-035. These systems flag instances where a figure appears featureless or if passengers demonstrate signs of sudden, inexplicable distress. Upon confirmation, automated alerts are sent to local field operatives for rapid deployment. If an SCP-Y-035 manifestation is confirmed, Foundation agents must avoid interaction and strictly follow Protocol MF Transit 6 to minimize risk. Under no circumstances should any passenger, including Foundation personnel, attempt to communicate with, document, or interfere with SCP-Y-035. Any violation of these rules risks triggering an escalation event, resulting in the disappearance of all passengers and the permanent sealing of the transit vehicle's exits. Description: SCP-Y-035, colloquially known as the Moribund Ferryman, is an enigmatic humanoid entity composed of a substance resembling dark, amorphous energy. Despite the ambiguity of its form, SCP-Y-035 is consistently described by witnesses as wearing a suit and tie, giving it the appearance of a well-dressed, nondescript figure. However, no specific details about its face or body have ever been confirmed, as attempts to discern these features often result in confusion, dizziness, and a failure to recall any concrete description beyond its attire. The anomaly manifests exclusively within public transit vehicles, including buses, trains, subways, ferries, and similar forms of transportation. It appears inconspicuously, taking a seat among the passengers as though it were an ordinary traveler. During this initial phase, SCP-Y-035 is perceived as an ordinary person by those around it, and no notable reactions or disturbances are recorded. It is only once the transit vehicle begins moving and the doors have closed that the true nature of the entity becomes apparent. Upon the initiation of the journey, passengers on board experience a sudden and overwhelming sense of dread, accompanied by severe paranoia. Despite having initially ignored SCP-Y-035, all individuals present become immediately aware of its unnatural presence. Eyewitness accounts consistently describe the entity as a void in the shape of a person, a shadow without depth or substance, seated calmly as though it were just another passenger. At this point, all occupants of the vehicle must adhere to Protocol MF Transit 6, a strict set of behavioral guidelines. Failure to comply with any of these rules will result in a K-class transit anomaly event, wherein the vehicle continues along its route without stopping and all passengers on board disappear without a trace. Addendum Y-0356, pre-recorded broadcast transcript for MF Transit 6 activation. Note: the following is the full pre-recorded audio broadcast used during MF Transit 6 activation in cases of SCP-Y-035 manifestation. This message is played directly through the transit vehicle's speakers or radio system using a Foundation-controlled frequency to override normal radio signals. The audio is delivered in a calm, neutral tone, designed to minimize panic and maintain compliance with Protocol MF Transit 6. Begin log.
Good evening, passengers. This is an important announcement. Please listen carefully and follow the upcoming instructions precisely. Your safety depends on your full cooperation. You may notice an unfamiliar passenger among you. This passenger is to be ignored during this safety procedure. It is absolutely vital that you heed the following rules exactly as stated. Failure to do so may result in an escalation event, and we do not want that to happen. Please remain calm, and remember, we are here to help you through this.
Rule number 1. Do not speak. From this moment onward, you must not speak to anyone, including those sitting near you. Do not whisper, do not mutter under your breath, and do not attempt to communicate in any way. Silence is crucial. Even a single word could trigger an escalation event. Rule number 2. Do not look directly at the unfamiliar passenger. You may feel compelled to look, but you must resist. Staring at this passenger will increase your fear and could provoke a response that will seal the exits. Above all, do not make eye contact. Keep your gaze focused on your own seat, your hands, or a neutral point on the floor. Do not risk a glance. Rule number 3. Remain seated and still for the entire duration of the journey. Under no circumstances should you stand up, change seats, or shift your position excessively. Even if you feel the need to stretch, remain as motionless as possible. Moving from your seat will be perceived as a breach of protocol, resulting in an escalation event. Rule number 4. Do not touch or interact with any emergency equipment. You may feel compelled to halt the vehicle and escape using such measures, but you must resist this urge. This includes emergency stop buttons, door release levers, and any intercom systems. The transit will continue as normal and emergency stops are not necessary. Interfering with these systems will immediately seal all exits and result in an escalation event. Rule number 5. Do not engage in eye contact with other passengers. The presence of the unfamiliar passenger may cause fear and confusion. There have been reports of individuals seeing the reflection of the unfamiliar passenger's face on others who have boarded the transit. You must avoid looking directly at anyone else on board. Eye contact can amplify shared paranoia, making it more likely for someone to break a rule. Keep your focus inward and remain calm. Rule number 6. Do not use any electronic devices. This includes cell phones, cameras, or any other recording devices. Attempting to record or photograph the unfamiliar passenger will not only fail, but will also disrupt the current conditions, escalating the situation. Turn off your devices now and place them out of sight. Do not bother trying to use your cell phone to call others. There is no connection to the outside world when riding with the unfamiliar passenger. Rule number 7. If the transit vehicle stops unexpectedly, follow the command of the voice in your head. Should the transit halt at an unplanned location, such as an unlit subway tunnel or an isolated forest path, you may hear a clear internal voice instructing you to leave. If you hear this, you must immediately disembark, even if the surroundings appear dangerous or unfamiliar. You will be given the standard time for a stop, usually between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. Failing to leave when instructed will result in an escalation event. Rule number 8. Ignore any anomalous sounds or voices. You may hear whispers, cries, or even voices calling your name. Do not respond. These sounds are not real and are meant to provoke a reaction from you. Acknowledging them in any way, even turning your head, can trigger an escalation event. Remain still and silent. Rule number 9. Do not make any sudden movements or gestures. If you need to shift your position slightly, Do so slowly and carefully. Jerking movements or sudden gestures can draw the attention of the unfamiliar passenger, leading to a breach in protocol. Rule number 10. At the end of the journey, remain seated until the unfamiliar passenger disembarks. You must wait. Even if you feel an overwhelming urge to leave, do not stand up until the unfamiliar passenger has exited the vehicle. You will know it has left when you no longer feel its overwhelming presence aboard the transit. At that point, it is safe for you to disembark. Final rule: trust the process. You are not alone. We are monitoring the situation, and this broadcast is designed to help you. Remain calm, follow these rules, and you will be fine. Remember, breaking any of these rules will result in an escalation event, and the consequences are severe. We need your full cooperation. Thank you for your patience and compliance. The journey will continue shortly. Stay seated, stay calm, and do not react to anything unusual. The unfamiliar passenger is simply observing. Follow the rules, and you will reach your destination safely. This announcement will repeat shortly to ensure everyone is informed.
Good evening, passengers. This is an important announcement.
Addendum Y-035-7, Post-Incident Analysis. The MF Transit 6 broadcast has proven to be the most effective method of minimizing panic and enforcing compliance without directly triggering SCP-Y-035's awareness. During incidents where MF Transit 6 was used, compliance rates improved by 83%, and no escalation events were recorded. However, psychological evaluations of survivors revealed a common lingering effect. Most passengers described a sense of dread, as though they had narrowly avoided a catastrophic fate. Some reported vivid dreams of endless train rides through dark, unlit tunnels, with the unfamiliar passenger always seated in the periphery of their vision, watching silently. Research into the full extent of SCP-Y-035's capabilities is ongoing, but the implementation of MF Transit 6 has provided the Foundation with a critical buffer, giving passengers the best chance of surviving encounters with the Moribund Ferryman. Combined with follow-up amnestic treatments for survivors, MF Transit 6 is currently our best way to combat the anomaly. Incident Log Y-03542, Manifestation on Train 274B, Date, November 2nd, 2000. Location, Northern Metro Line, City of... Summary: SCP-Y-035 was reported on Train 274B after passengers exhibited sudden severe distress immediately following departure from the station. Eyewitnesses described an impossibly dark figure seated near the center of the car. Despite the rising panic, the train completed its route without incident, and all passengers disembarked as instructed. Surveillance footage shows a noticeable gap in the video, with SCP-Y-035's seat appearing empty, despite all witnesses confirming its presence. Addendum Y-0352, Transit Replica Discovery in Provisional Reality-Y-1. Following a failed containment attempt in baseline reality, a Greyhound bus matching the description of the one involved was discovered abandoned in a remote section of Provisional Reality-Y-1. The bus interior contained the mummified remains of all passengers, showing signs of advanced decay and an age discrepancy of approximately 300 years. Analysis suggests that victims experience a time dilation effect, living through the equivalent of 3 centuries in transit, before being released into Provisional Reality-Y-1. Foundation theorists propose that SCP-Y-035 acts as a cosmic psychopomp, enforcing a set of ritualistic rules tied to a higher, incomprehensible order. The usage of overtaken radio communication seems to exploit a loophole, enabling the Foundation to provide passive guidance without breaching the entity's behavioral constraints. The anomaly's actions imply a form of punishment or judgment, forcing rule breakers into an interminable journey through a temporal limbo, their very essence serving as a grim reminder of the price of non-compliance. Strict adherence to Protocol MF Transit 6 and the utilization of amnestics are paramount. Any deviation from established guidelines risks the activation of a K-class transit anomaly event, leading to catastrophic loss of life and potential long-term psychological trauma for surviving witnesses. SCP-Y-035 is not merely a passenger, it is the keeper of the journey, enforcing rules that must not be broken. This is Director Knightley, signing off on another report at Site-Y-1. I hope you consider subscribing to stay up to date with our latest findings. I eagerly look forward to having your audience in future reports.